They kicked out the press again. Friday morning, Oval Office, scheduled public meeting becomes secret session. No cameras allowed, no recordings permitted, no questions answered. The same administration that promised transparency now operates in darkness. The same leaders who claimed they would drain the swamp are drawing us in secrets. The same people who say they work for you just slam the door in your face. This isn't just about one meeting. This is about a pattern I've seen destroy democracies, a pattern that starts with closed doors and ends with closed societies. When governments hide their meetings, they are hiding their crimes. When leaders fear cameras, they fear accountability. When public servants demand privacy, the public always pays the price. I'm Cristina. For over a decade, I've tracked these patterns. From Haiti to Washington, from corporate boardrooms to government backrooms, the playbook never changes. Only the players do. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what they are hiding, why they are terrified of transparency, and what this means for every single American watching. New York just elected Zohran Mamdani as mayor, 32 years old, Democratic Socialist, first-generation American, the embodiment of everything Trump claims to hate. Trump invited him to the White House and called it a meeting about New York's needs. Fox News had a different story. They called it a showdown with socialism, a confrontation with the radical left. Conservative media promised fireworks. They predicted Trump would destroy this young mayor on camera.
And now it looks like we're going to have a communist mayor in New York. That'll be a lot of fun.
Then something interesting happened. Mamdani posts selfies heading to Washington, updates his social media from the train, says he is ready for the public debate. Wants everything on camera, full transparency, even offers to live stream the whole thing. Trump panics. The man who claims he's the strongest leader, who says he's never afraid, who brags about confronting anyone, suddenly needs privacy, suddenly needs protection from cameras, suddenly can't have witnesses. He closes the meeting, kicks out every journalist, major outlets, friendly media, even his own promotional team. Everyone out. No recordings, no witnesses, no accountability. I've covered authoritarians for 15 years. This is what they do. When someone isn't afraid of public scrutiny, when someone welcomes transparency, they corrupt, run, and hide. Think about this. Mamdani is half Trump's age. New to politics, should be easy to demolish in debate, right? So why hide? What was Trump afraid will be exposed? What questions couldn't he answer? What truth was too dangerous for America to see? Remember when Democratic leaders came to negotiate during the shutdown? Trump closed that meeting too, then tweeted fictional accounts on what happened. No witnesses to contradict him, no video to prove him wrong. This is what weak leaders do. They attack from Twitter at 3 a.m. They threaten from podiums with prepared scripts. But face-to-face, with camera rolling, with no escape route, they run. They hide. They close the doors. And they hope you won't notice the pattern. But closed doors in Washington are nothing compared to what's happening with Ukraine. Last week, a 28-point document surfaces. The administration calls it a peace plan. Ukraine calls it a surrender demand. I've read every word. Let me tell you what it really says. Ukraine must give up all eastern territories, not temporarily, but forever. Permanently cede Crimea to Russia. No future claims allowed. Never join NATO. Not now, not in 10 years, not ever. Accept Russian oversight of their military. Reduce their army by 60%. Allow Russian veto power over their foreign policy. This isn't a peace plan. This is subjugation. This is what conquered nations sign. This is what the defeated accept. But here is the part that should terrify every American. Linguists, experts analyzed the original document. 3 separate analysts working independently came to the same conclusion. The sentence structure is Russian. The grammatical patterns are Russian. The phrasing, the syntax, the flow, all Russian. This wasn't written by Americans and translated to Russian for negotiation. This was written in Russian and translated to English for presentation. Sit with that for a moment. Our administration is literally handing Ukraine a Russian written surrender document and calling it American democracy. They delivered Putin's demands with White House letterhead. They're doing Russia's work while you pay for it. I contacted former State Department officials, career diplomats who've served both parties. They are horrified. One told me, in 40 years, I've never seen America present another country's surrender terms as our own policy. Zelensky's response was diplomatic but devastating. He said Ukraine faces choosing between dignity and survival, between sovereignty and support, between fighting alone or surrendering with American blessing. No ally should force that choice. No friend demands surrender. No partner scripts your defeat in your enemy's language. While they betray allies abroad, America is collapsing at home, and they're hoping you are too distracted to notice. The University of Michigan just released data that should terrify everyone. Consumer confidence hasn't just dropped, it's crashed. Hit its lowest points since they started measuring 70 years ago. 70 years. That includes the 2008 crisis, the dot-com crash, the 70s stagflation, every recession, every downturn, every crisis. Americans have never felt this hopeless about their economic future. I went to Georgia last week, not for the wealthy suburbs, to the working neighborhoods, the places politicians only visit during campaigns. A man named Marcus works construction, told me he hasn't had a full week's work in 6 months. His wife, Sarah, a teacher, is buying classroom supplies with their grocery money. They're choosing between fixing their car or paying rent. They're working their entire lives, pay taxes, follow the rules, and they're droning. In Pennsylvania, I meet Jennifer, single mom. 2 jobs, still can't afford daycare. She brings her daughter to her night shift at the warehouse. The 80-year-old sleeps in her break room. And Jennifer cries every night, wondering what kind of childhood she is providing. These aren't statistics. These are Americans, working Americans, tax-paying Americans, Americans who did everything right and are being crushed by an economy that only works for the wealthy. Gas prices may fluctuate, but wages stay flat. Stock markets hit records, but savings accounts are empty. Billionaires buy social media platforms while families can buy groceries. I have the receipts. Literally, families showing me grocery bills that doubled, electric bills that tripled, rent increases that forced them to move every year, each move farther from their jobs, each job paying less than the last. And what's Washington's response? They close doors to hide their meetings. They hand out Russian surrender documents. They play political theater while America bleeds. Meanwhile, there is a crisis they are actively hiding. ICA just released numbers they tried to bury during the shutdown. These aren't estimates. These are their own statistics. 40% of people they are detaining have zero criminal record, not minor crimes, zero crimes, nothing, not even a traffic ticket. When Trump took office, that number was 4%. It's increased tenfold. I have footage from raids. A father grabbed at his daughter's school play. A mother arrested while giving birth. Workers disappeared from factories mid-shift. Students taken from universities. No warrants, no warning, no mercy. Maria has been here 23 years, pays taxes, owns the business, employs 15 Americans. ICE took her in front of her children. Her crime? Being born on the wrong side of a border. David came here at 2 years old, speaks only English, has a social security number, served in our military. ICE detained him for 14 months. His crime? His parents' decision 30 years ago. These aren't isolated crimes. I have hundreds of documented stories. Families destroyed, communities terrorized, Americans, because that's what they are, regardless of their paperwork, living in constant fear. An ICE officer, speaking anonymously, told me that they have quotas now, not for criminals, for bodies, for numbers, for statistics to justify budgets. He said, we are not law enforcement anymore. We are a collection agency for human beings. This isn't border security. This is a state terror. This is what authoritarian regimes do. Create fear, destroy families, make everyone afraid they are next. And if all this wasn't terrifying enough, we need to talk about what Trump said on Fox News. He was discussing his political opponents, people who disagree with him, Americans exercising their constitutional rights. And he said, quote, "In the old days, this would be punishable by death." Then he clarified, said he wasn't making a direct threat, just nothing historical precedent, just observing how things used to be handled. I've covered regimes that collapsed into violence. It always starts the same way. Jokes about killing opponents, references to historical violence, testing boundaries, normalizing the unthinkable. First is just words, then is just threats, then is just arrests, then is just trials, then is just executions, each step normalized by the previous one, each order made acceptable by repetition. When Duterte joked about killing drug dealers in Philippines, people laughed. 30,000 deaths later, nobody's laughing. When Bolsonaro joked about military intervention in Brazil, people dismissed it. The January 8th attack on their capital wasn't a joke. Words matter, especially from people with power, especially from people with armies, especially from people who've already shown contempt for democracy. Act. Stop hoping it gets better on its own. Closed-door governments don't become transparent. They become tyrannical. Leaders who threaten opponents don't become democratic. They become dictators. Nations that accept surrender documents don't remain sovereign. They become subjects. Societies that normalize detention don't stay free. They become prisons. We are watching American democracy die, not in one dramatic moment, but in 1,000 small surrenders, meeting by meeting, thread by thread, raid by raid, betrayal by betrayal. History will ask where you were, what you did, whether you spoke up or stayed silent, whether you fought back or gave in, whether you are a citizen or a subject. But here is what they don't understand. We see them. We document everything. We share everything. We remember everything. We are millions. They are few. They can close doors. We'll find windows. They can silence officials. We'll amplify witnesses. They can hide truth. We'll expose lies. They can threaten violence. We'll promise justice. I'm Cristina. I don't care who you voted for. I don't care what party you support. I care about truth. I care about democracy. I care about the America we are losing, the America our children deserves, the America worth fighting for. If you care too, then share this. Download it, save it, spread it before they try to bury this like they bury everything else that has threatened them. Call your representatives, demand answers, show up at your town halls, ask uncomfortable questions, make them explain, make them justify, make them fear your vote more than they fear transparency. Stay informed, stay angry, stay American. And whenever you go, don't look away, don't get tired, don't give up. Because the moment we stop watching is the moment we lose everything. The moment we stop fighting is the moment they win. And I refuse to let them win. Do you?